Oh, hey, let me actually put myself in the. Is my camera deactivated? Why is my camera off? Sorry about that. Let me just fix my. Disconnect my camera. Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. I don't know what the heck was happening to my camera. My camera wasn't working. It's working now. Sorry about that. I don't know what the heck was with my camera. Let me just connect my phone. Should I record this? Maybe I will. I'm gonna record this video. So Trump posted that the Iranian leadership has forced hundreds of ships towards the United States, mostly to Texas and Alaska, to get their oil. Thank you, Donald Trump, says. What was 2 hours ago? I'm winning by law. Military has been amazing. If you read the fake news, Wall Street Journal. The Navy has been completely wiped out. Air Force is gone. They have no anti-missiles, no anti-airplane. There's been an addition to everything the original. Perhaps the most important is blockade. We will take off. There's no deal. They are losing 500 million, unstable number even in the short run. The anti-American fake news. Unpatriotic wants to find me. They can do this all. The result will be the same. It is already. Something about Iran. Too hard to some position we are in. Oh my god, the Democrats are traitors. Damn, he's been posting a lot. Trump's been posting a lot. Let me go to YouTube. Sorry about that. I shouldn't have muted myself.
President Trump says a potential deal with Iran would be, quote, far better than former President Obama's 2015 agreement. But there's a catch. He needs to get Tehran back to the negotiating table. Today, in an interview with Bloomberg, Trump said it's highly unlikely that he would extend the truce with Iran before it expires on Wednesday evening. Sources tell CNN Vice President J.D. Vance is set to travel to Pakistan for a second round of peace talks, but Tehran says it has no plans to participate. In fact, the regime is vowing retaliation after American forces fired on and seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship known as the Tuska after it tried to bypass the U.S. blockade. U.S. Central Command sharing this video you see here of yesterday's operation, which shows U.S. Marines on helicopters rappelling down and boarding the ship. CNN's Nick Robertson is live for us from Islamabad in Pakistan. Nick, it is unclear if this new round of talks is actually even going to happen. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I think at the moment the struggle to get the Iranians to commit to come to the table is going to be about as big an effort as it will be then, should they get to the table, to try to bring agreement around the table. I think there's real hope, certainly from the mediators, from Pakistan's perspective, that if they can get Iran to the table, J.D. Vance, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, when they arrive in Pakistan, if the Iranians can get to the table, then the mediators really feel that there is a deal that can be done. So I think in that context, there's some positivity. In the background, of course, there is diplomacy going on, trying to reach out to the Iranians, trying to convince them to come. Conversations, obviously, between Pakistani and US officials at various different levels. But at the moment, the core issue for the Iranians really is the Strait of Hormuz. Last week, when Pakistan's sort of top negotiator, who was also the most powerful man in the country, Field Marshal Asim Munir, was in Tehran, there was a real sort of series of confidence-building measures going on. You had the ceasefire in Lebanon, you had the Iranians opening up the Strait of Hormuz. They got disappointed when President Trump decided to keep the US closure of the Strait of Hormuz in place. The Iranians fired on ships. The United States overnight fired on, as you were mentioning, on that Iranian tanker. That's sort of given the hardliners in Iran over the past 48 hours a much sort of stronger messaging than they had previously. But the lead negotiator, Ghalibaf, who's the speaker in the Iranian parliament, is still seen as a key interlocutor. If he can and does come to Pakistan, that he can sit at the table and with sort of authority have that serious negotiation across the table. So at the moment, everyone here is waiting for the Iranians to signal they're coming. You know, it could come late tonight, it could come early tomorrow morning. But obviously, if it doesn't come sort of by the middle of the day or early afternoon local time tomorrow, then therefore, what would be the point of J.D. Vance getting on a plane and coming here? So I think that's the sort of time frame we're looking into here. Of course, this city's ready, security is in place, hotels are ready, vacated, ready for the two teams to come in. The talks venue's all sorted, super secure around there. I was down there in that area today. So it's all set and ready to go. It's waiting on the Iranians, and can they be convinced to come? I think the hope is the answer is yes, but until they sign on, it's still a guess.
Yeah, certainly is. Nick Robertson, thank you for the very latest. Omar?
Let's talk about this more with retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Cedric Leighton. So, look, I just want to start with the Strait of Hormuz. It's largely deserted at this point in terms of that main portion. What current threats do ships looking to pass through face here?
Well, Omar, some of the threats include the mines, obviously, the possible mines that the Iranians may have dispersed, but they're also looking at the mine-laying shipcraft that are there.
Wise, militarily effective.
Yeah, it seems like this ceasefire is not happening. Yeah, if you guys can hear me, I don't know how good my audio is coming through. I think it should be coming through good. I have my mic right up to my face. Yeah, should be coming through good. I'm speaking directly to it. Okay.
What's happening inside Iran has very much to do with the current state. Comes to the President of the United States. Just take a look at these net approval ratings when it comes to inflation. The President of the United States is hitting all-time record lows in all of these polls, and all of them. NBC came out yesterday, 36 points underwater. CBS came out a few weeks ago, 38 points underwater. Ipsos, Reuters, 43 points underwater. CNN came out earlier this month, 45 points underwater. And taking the cake is UMass Amherst, 47 points underwater across all of these polls. Trump is in his worst position ever on the issue that the American people say over and over and over again is their key #1 issue. Was it always thus? No, it wasn't this always thus, Mr. Berman. And this is what is so amazing to me. I mean, these shifts that we're just seeing, my goodness gracious. Voters on Trump and inflation. In the 2024 election, remember, Trump got reelected to a second term, and Joe Biden got pushed to the curb in large part because Americans felt he couldn't handle inflation. Trump was more trusted than Kamala Harris on inflation by 7 points. Look at his net approval right now. You average all those polls on the first side of your screen, 42 points underwater. That is a nearly 50-point shift away from the President of the United States. A nearly 50-point shift. That's bad. What's worse?
Yeah, what's worse? You think this is bad, a nearly 50-point shift. How about a 70-point shift? I'm laughing because you never see numbers like this. Look at this. Independence on Trump and inflation. In the 2024 election versus Harris, Trump was favored by 10 points. Down he goes. Down he goes. He's down to 60 points underwater on inflation. That is a 70-point shift in a little bit less than 2 years worth of time. John Berman and I are big baseball fans. And I will tell you, I'm going to go to Trump's home borough in Queens because, to be honest, it's the only comparison I can think of. Donald Trump is in worse shape on inflation right now than the New York Metropolitans are in the NL East. That is how bad. And what, the Mets just lose their 11th straight game?
At a certain point, you stop counting because there's so many. There's two things I just want to point out quickly here. The two words that matter so much here are, independence and inflation. These are two areas the president did well on in the last election.
He did well. This is what is happening here. The strengths that Donald Trump once had with the electorate, the things that got him elected to a second term, you can wave adios amigos goodbye to them. And why that's so important is even though Trump isn't on the ballot come November, a lot of Republicans in Congress are on the ballot. And if these numbers hold, you can wave adios amigos goodbye. See you later. Certainly that House majority and maybe that Senate majority as well.
Harold, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're joined now by Republican Congressman Marlon Stutzman of Indiana. Congressman, we're grateful to you for being here with us on a Sunday night. Thank you so much. We just heard from my colleague Harry Enton there talking about that key issue of inflation. We obviously have midterms coming up. Every Republican House member, it will be.
Yeah, I know the Democrats are going to win the midterms, so I don't know what Trump is doing. It's fading. Inflation's not looking good. Why am I like freaking lagging? Why does it keep saying this? Keep saying my internet speed. Oh, my internet speed be affected.
Joining us now, former FBI official and MS Now national security and intelligence analyst Chris O'Leary. Joyce Vance is former U.S. attorney and MS Now legal analyst. Ashley Parker, staff writer at The Atlantic, is back with me. Joyce, knowing what's public about 6 years of investigations into 2020, including rulings by Republican-appointed judges, what are the chances we're on the precipice of a history-changing conspiracy being unmasked?
I suppose that there's a non-zero chance of just about anything, but the timing on this one is suspect at best. This issue involving the election has been litigated again and again. I think that this is very likely more about politics
Yeah,
than it is about
Trump
anything
lost
else.
the 2020
Chris, how unusual is it?
election.
I mean, first, we're used to FBI directors coming out and they're usually flanked by a bunch of people and they say that they have made a series of arrests or they have filed a lawsuit, whatever. But when you announce a future arrest on TV or a series of future arrests, how unusual is that?
You don't do that, but when you're an unqualified sycophant who should not be the director of the FBI, he's catering to the White House and to President Trump, who has alleged these conspiracies going all the way back to when he didn't win an Emmy for The Apprentice, and then when he lost the Iowa caucuses to Ted Cruz, and on and on and on. So he, every time Cash, embarrasses himself, the FBI, and the country, he then does something to distract and to please President Trump. And this, to me, just seems like the latest episode. And we can reflect back just a couple of months when the FBI and Tulsi Gabbard sees the voter information down in Fulton County, something that is clearly inappropriate and not based on any facts.
So, Ashley, your colleague at The Atlantic, Sarah Fitzpatrick, reports in that article that several officials told her Patel had consumed alcohol to the point of obvious intoxication in front of White House officials and other Trump administration staff. On multiple occasions within the past year, members of his security detail have also had difficulty waking Patel because he was seemingly intoxicated. These are the allegations Patel is challenging in his suit, but I know you've reported on Patel standing with the president. Do we know where he stands with the president right now?
We have some sense.
I want to talk about also the earthquake that happened in Japan. I forgot about that. There was a 7.7 earthquake off the coast of Japan. I want to talk about that. 7.7 earthquake off the coast of Japan. That happened like earlier in the day in Japan.
Someone I spoke with in the White House had told me that incident that did involve at least an image of him drinking with the U.S. hockey team at the Olympic had obviously displeased the president. It's worth noting here that President Trump is someone who does not drink, has never drank. His older brother died after a long illness with alcoholism. And so it's something in general, substance abuse, alcohol, that the president does not like. He doesn't like to see his aides engaging in that. And again, we don't know how much he was drinking there. There was just that one image, but I know the president was upset or displeased, as it was put to me, about that one image. And then generally, when Pam Bondi was pushed out as attorney general, we heard rumors that there were other people in the White House who were also going to be next to go. And one of those was Kash Patel. And in talking to several senior officials at the White House, they basically did not waive me or my colleagues off of his name being on that list, but they also said, there's nothing imminent. It's not like he's getting pushed out tomorrow, but yes, he is one of this handful of people serving the president who there have been ongoing, slow-moving discussions about when is the appropriate time for them to leave.
So, Chris, what impact could this reported behavior from an FBI director have overall on the agency and its staff?
Well, I'll tell you, there is no trust and confidence in Kash Patel's abilities within the FBI, but also, across the law enforcement community, in the United States, the intelligence community, and our international partners. The FBI has been effective since its birth in 1908 because it builds strong partnerships, and it sets a standard for professionalism with law enforcement and intelligence, and all of that has been abandoned with the actions and the clown car sideshow of Kash Patel. I mean, frankly, people within the FBI think he's a dumpster fire.
Actually, when you look at Patel's announcement of, quote, arrests coming soon, and then we hear of a separate effort to investigate the 2024 election in Michigan, spearheaded by someone, I should say, who's widely reported to be jockeying to be the next attorney general. Is it a far reach to think this is a way to get into the president's good graces?
Well, first I have to say, when Kash announced, arrest coming soon, to me, I just had flashbacks again of former Attorney General Pam Bondi saying the Epstein files are on my desk and I'll be releasing them soon. And this is, Kash Patel is someone, like frankly everyone who works in this administration, who does want to get on the president's good side, who is performing again, like.
Yeah, no, it's all performative. Sorry about that. I don't know why freaking that thing, the logos of the people like glitches out on my Firefox. What was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, the Japan earthquake. These are all the videos. Is any live updates? Guess those shorts, I can't watch shorts. I think my browser blocks the shorts. Is this translated? Let me watch this video. Oh, let me actually lower this. Way too fast. Oh, let me actually watch this Associated Press.
本日16時53分ごろ、三陸沖を震源とする、地震が発生し、青森県で最大震度5強の強い揺れを観測しました。また岩手県、北海道太平洋沿岸中部、青森県太平洋沿岸に津波警報が発表されるなどしております。津波警報が発表されている地域の皆様は直ちに高台や避難ビルなどより高い安全な場所に避難をしてください。現時点では人的、物的被害は確認中、ということでございますけれども、これから詳細な報告を受け災害対応に当たってまいります。
Raiders. Let me actually just watch. Let me go to this. Sorry about that. I don't know why the
FBI Director Kash Patel has filed a defamation lawsuit against The Atlantic and its reporter Sarah Fitzpatrick after the publication of an article on Friday alleging the director had a drinking problem that could pose a threat to national security. The magazine's story, initially titled "Kash Patel's Erratic Behavior Could Cost Him His Job," cited more than 24 anonymous sources expressing concern at Patel's conspicuous inebriation and unexplained absences that alarmed officials at the FBI and the Department of Justice. The Atlantic titled the piece "The FBI Director is MIA" in its online version, which also reported that during Patel's tenure, the FBI had to reschedule early meetings as a result of his alcohol-fueled nights, and that Patel is often away or unreachable, delaying time-sensitive decisions needed to advance investigations. In the Atlantic story, the White House, the Department of Justice, and Patel denied the allegations. The article included a statement from the FBI attributed to Patel, quote, "Print it, all false. I'll see you in court. Bring your checkbook." Patel is now seeking $250 million in damages. In an interview with Reuters, Patel said, quote, "The Atlantic story is a lie," adding, "They were given the truth before they published and they chose to print falsehoods anyway." The Atlantic said in a statement that it stands by its reporting and will vigorously defend the organization and its journalists against what it called a meritless lawsuit.
A meritless lawsuit? Yep. I know I've seen this is where they I don't want to really talk about it, but yeah, they destroyed the crucifix of Jesus Christ, an IDF soldier in Lebanon. Yeah, not looking good. I don't really want to talk about it because it's kind of religious, you know. I'm gonna stick focused on non-religious stuff, mostly political stuff and U.S. politics, news and U.S. politics.
J.D. Vance becomes a Catholic 2 minutes ago, and then he's like, you know what, the Pope needs to be a little bit more cautious with how he talks about the just war theory. Okay, do you know about the just war theory? Because we just started a war choice and started bombing a girls' school, and that might be just war. So shut up. And then he tells the kid asking the question, and you shut up too. And it's like, J.D. Vance and Zelensky, you shut up too. He just likes telling people to shut up.
Yep, he's terrible.
J.D. Vance telling people to shut up. They're bored.
Hello and welcome to the Bulwark Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Miller. It is Monday, so we have editor-at-large Bill Kristol. I want to wish a happy 420 to those who celebrate it for, you know, marijuana reasons. A cursed 420 to those who celebrate it because it's Hitler's birthday.
Yeah.
Many of the rest of you don't notice it at all. Bill, what about you? Do you have a 420 tradition that you like to?
I'm sort of in the don't notice it at all category. You know?
All right, well, I'll be celebrating tonight on the live stream. I'm streaming again, taking your questions at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube or Substack. And to celebrate the day, I'll be having a Louie THC beverage, and we'll have a good time. So come hang out with us 8 o'clock tonight. On more responsible notes, tomorrow, the people of Virginia, which includes you, Bill Kristol, need to get out and vote on the redistricting referendum. I have a couple of thoughts on that, but you're a Virginia resident. Have you voted yet? Have you decided how to vote?
I voted early, late last week. They said at the polling place that, given that it was a week before the election and turnout was high, and I think that's generally people have the sense that turnout's comparable to the governor election.
I'm going to end the stream.
I voted for the referendum, and
I'm going to watch this video later.